right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Bitfarms, stock ticker BITF. They're a Bitcoin mining company. We talk about them all the time on this channel. They did put out their monthly operation report for the month of July yesterday. So first, I want to go through that, but I also want to talk about all things Bitfarms. So there's a lot going on with Bitfarms, including the fact that they're about to report earnings. So I want to talk about what my expectations are there. I want to talk about how they did in the month of July. Also, I want to look at balance sheet, income statement. We're going to take a look at a bunch of charts that I've done. And in addition to that, we will take a look at the Bitfarms stock chart and see, where we've been and where we think it's going. So before we get started, we cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. If that's content that you enjoy, I really would appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel out a lot. You can also smash the like button and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. All right, let's get going. Let's talk Bitfarms. So they ended the trading day yesterday at $1.78. Yesterday was a little bit of a red day, so I don't want to talk about really yesterday too much. Okay, so that leaves Bitfarms at somewhere around a $440 million market cap. So I'm going to compare market caps later. I do think that is low for them. It's historically low compared to their highs from a year or two ago. It's also low compared to their competitors, in my opinion. We'll look at a chart of that as well. So for starters, let's get right to the monthly operational report and see what Bitfarms did in the month of July. Okay, so August 1st, they're always the first ones to report. They report the first day of the month. So I do like that about Bitfarms. Okay, the headline is Bitfarms mines 378 Bitcoin in July. So we're going to compare that to previous months. That's a few Bitcoin less actually than they mined in June. I think this is a good report. So they continue to perform operationally, in my opinion. Let's talk about the details. Okay, so they give some highlights at the top. Launched expansion to nearly double the hydropower capacity to 350 megawatts. So they made a very big deal recently, and you can see this is going to double their hydropower. Let's just go quickly. This was a press release they put out a few weeks ago on July 19th. Bitfarms secures contract in Paraguay for up to 150 megawatts of hydropower. In 2022, Bitfarms really had a year where they did not focus on expansion. They had racked up a bunch of debt, over $100 million. They've gotten rid of the vast majority of that. We're going to take a look at that later as well. So that's a big, big plus. But as a result of that, and as a result of the fact that really it was a crypto winter basically for the entire year 2022, Bitfarms really slowed down their growth. But they have a massive amount of potential growth that they already have locked down in Argentina, and now they're locking down 150 potential megawatts of hydropower in Paraguay. So this is their path to growth. I think they're going to walk this growth forward. I think a lot of these companies learned through the crypto winter once again that they have to manage their growth. Okay, so on July 6th, they put out this press release. Bitfarms starts production at Baie-Comeau and increases hash rate target to 6.3 exahash in Q3 of 2023. So this is step one. They're at about 5.3 exahash right now, so this is going to add the next exahash. Really, I think it's going to take them a while, but just between their deal in Paraguay and their deal in Argentina, they could easily get to 12 or 14 exahash. Okay, Ben Gagnon, Chief Mining Officer of Bitfarms, said, in July, Bitcoin production was 378 compared to 385 in June of 2023, as difficulty increased another 3.3%. So that's fairly commensurate with their reduction in production. So they were very, very similar, almost the same month over month, but production was down a little bit in July. They do go on to explain this a little more. In addition to the fact that the difficulty level increased, they talk about production was also impacted by intense weather events, including record temperatures and unprecedented wildfires. So remember the wildfires that Canada had that led to poor air quality in Quebec and resulted in the temporary throttling back of miners. So these things contributed to very, very minor reduction. Remember, from 385 to 378, so, almost the same production level month over month. In addition to all of that, one of their farms was hit by lightning and it went offline for 7 days. So with all that told, again, fairly level production. Bitfarms is a very highly efficient Bitcoin mining company. We're going to look at their efficiency rate. This was for the month of June. Obviously, we're just now getting the July data, so in a few weeks, I will put this together for the month of July, but you're going to see this is the number of Bitcoin mined divided by the number of exahash for each company. Some of these companies actually report this information in their monthly operational report. For the other ones, it's simple mathematics. So you're going to see Bitfarms was tied for first place with Hive many many months, Hive and Bitfarms have been tied for first place. Bitfarms, Hive, Iris, and CleanSpark have been the top 4 every single month all year so far in 2023. So I'm not sure Bitfarms is going to retain this first place, but I would be very comfortable in saying it's most likely going to finish still in the top 4 right here among the upper echelon of these companies. So we're going to have to wait for the rest of the data to see what happens and see where they finish. But again, every single month so far this year, they have been in first place or tied for first place in efficiency. Okay, so if we look at a little chart of their performance, this is in the monthly operational report. You're going to see in July, 378 Bitcoin mined, month-end operating exahash rate 5.3, so that was the same month over month. Bitcoin per average exahash, this is the efficiency rate I was just talking about. So you can see in June they were at 77. In July they popped down to 76. So I do believe that will still most likely be among the leaders, if not the leader. Okay, so this is a chart of Bitcoin mined by Bitcoin miner in the month of June. So this is last month. So I'm just trying to take a sneak peek here and see where Bitfarm fits in the big picture. You're going to see last month they mined 385. That was 5th place overall amongst publicly traded Bitcoin miners. So there's a few companies that are going to be all in a very, very tight range. Iris Energy, Bitfarms, Cypher, and TeraWulf. I do think these 4 companies are going to be very close as the year goes on. So that's one thing that I'm going to be paying attention to. How are these companies producing versus each other? How is their profitability doing versus each other? I do think some of these companies are going to pass Bitfarms in the month of July. Cypher did already put their numbers out, and they were a little bit higher than Bitfarms. So that's one company that's going to pass Bitfarms in the month of July. Now, I don't think that that means they are past them forever. I think that those 4 companies are going to shuffle places for the rest of the year. So it's something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. But the other piece of that puzzle is market cap. While those 4 companies are very similar from a production standpoint, you're going to see Cypher is up here. This is as of last Friday. Cypher was at $871 million in market cap. TeraWulf was at $725 million in market cap. Bitfarms was at $442, and Iris Energy was at $358. So you can see Bitfarms and Iris Energy are lagging behind the other 2 companies that really they're very competitive with as far as the number of Bitcoin mined. Now, the financial statements do also dictate balance sheet, income statement, profitability. So we're going to take a look at all of those. But just so that you understand, this is one of the reasons that I do think there's some room for market cap growth. While Bitfarms is somewhere around 5th place in production and they're somewhere around 1st place in efficiency, they're 9th place overall in market cap right now. So I do think this allows some room for them to grow. Okay, then if we look at Bitcoin mined year to date in 2023, you're going to see Bitfarms has a really nice head start. They are in 4th place right now as far as Bitcoin mined year to date. And the other 3 companies I just mentioned, Cypher is very close with them. So we'll see how those 2 finish. But Iris Energy is down at 1,750. This is through the first half of the year. So, Bitfarms is about 750 ahead of them. And TeraWulf is down here at 1,442. So even though I do think the 4 companies will be very close throughout the year, I think it's very, very likely that Bitfarms will finish in either 4th or 5th place out of all of these companies when the year is over for the number of Bitcoin that were mined in the year of 2023. So obviously we have a half a year left. So we don't know. It's premature to make that call, but that's my best estimate. I think Bitfarms will finish somewhere either 4th or 5th place by the end of the year as far as production goes for the year of 2023. So again, this is another reason that in a lot of ways, I do think this is a competitive top 5 type Bitcoin mining company. Before I get to their stock chart, I want to go through this. They put out a press release also on July 26, Bitfarms to report second quarter 2023 financial results on Tuesday, August 8th. So next week, we are going to get their financial results for Q2. So this is a very, very important thing as well. I'll probably put out another video once we get some of this information. I'd like to see that they're cash flow positive from operations. One of the things that we only get to see on a quarterly basis is what is their cost per coin. So we're going to get to take a look at that. The other thing that I'm going to be looking at is at this point, they should also have positive net EBITDA. So we're going to see even last quarter, this was put out May 15th. So this was for the previous quarter. Bitfarms reported first quarter 2023 results with adjusted EBITDA of $6 million. So they had $6 million in the previous quarter. The economics of Bitcoin improved in this quarter, so I'm expecting them to beat this $6 million. So that's another very specific thing that I will be looking for from Bitfarms in their financial statements when they come out, next week. Lastly, what we're looking for is for these companies to become profitable by GAAP measures. I'm not sure any of these companies are going to be there quite yet, but They should be getting very close to that. Also, I want to take a close look at this general administrative expenses. You're going to see this was $8.3 million last quarter. A year ago, it was $13.8 million. So they have been doing a good job in managing their costs. This is one of the things that is within their control. So it's important for them to control these costs. This is an extremely competitive environment. Okay, with all that said, let's get to their chart. This is Bitfarms' chart on the 1-day time frame. They've had a big move up from their lows. All of these companies, all the Bitcoin miners, had a low in December of 2022. So from that low to where they are right now, you're going to see they're up 368%. However, I do want to look at a couple of price targets. The first one is, if we look back in August of 2022, Bitfarms was trading at $2.33. So in August of 2022, Bitcoin made a run up to $25,000. We've now been above that for many months. We're closer to $30,000. Today we happen to be at around $29,000. So, and it's now a year later, and Bitfarms is a significantly bigger, better company. They've also reduced their debt by about $100 million. Their debt is almost gone. They reported in this last statement, I think they have $13 million of debt left. That will be paid in full prior to the halving, and they don't plan on taking on any more debt. So financially, this is a much stronger company. I think operationally, they perform very well every month for the last year. So, why they're still below where they were last August doesn't make sense to me. So my first price target is, and I think this is a short-term price target, there's 30% sitting in the middle there that makes no sense to me. So that to me is overdue. But the last number I want to look at is, if you go back to May of 2022, this company was trading at about $3.20. That's about a 78% increase. So I do think there's a chance to reach that. And I do think there's a reasonable chance that Bitfarms could double prior to the halving. So those are some of my personal price targets. I think this first 30% up over $2 is a no-brainer in my opinion. Now, obviously anything can happen, and that counts on my bull case scenario where Bitcoin stays healthy and makes this run up to 35,000 that I think it's going to make. So we'll see what happens. That's not a given, but if it does do that, I think all these price points are in reach sometime in the next 30 or 60 or 90 days, and then, maybe getting up over $3 sometime before the halving. So I do think there's a lot of potential for Bitfarms. This is a buy and hold for me, but obviously not financial advice. You guys got to make your own buying decisions on this stock. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.